Hi there, and welcome to lesson 12, the law of correspondence. If you've gone in order, this is the final lesson. The law of compensation. Did I say the law of correspondence? I did. I meant the law of compensation. The law of compensation tells you to be generous and share what you have with others, and it will be returned to you. Giving and receiving are the same. And that's something that one of those things that I say all the time. Giving and receiving are the same. Because when you give to someone and they receive it, it feels good. And so you get that good feeling of giving and they get the good feeling of receiving. So you need to be open to receiving from others and not block it, because if you block that receiving, you're denying them those good feelings. Some blocks that are included in your receiving are doubt, feelings of unworthiness, or complaining about what you received. That's not gratitude. That's lower vibration, and it doesn't help you in your receiving. Now, one of the things that's interesting is that giving with the expectation of receiving on some level. Sometimes you give just for the good feeling that you receive. Sometimes you give with an ulterior motive or expectation. And those are receiving killers. Those block you from receiving as well. Because if you give with an expectation, if you say on the one hand, oh, I'm giving this to you out of generosity, but back inside you expect some kind of quid pro quo, is that the right word? Or some kind of compensation, then you're out of integrity. And being out of integrity causes confusion. And being in confusion doesn't give the universe anything to work with. So be sure that your expectations are clear when you're giving. If you're giving for the sake of giving, great. If you're giving with some expectation of receiving, then decide, do I need to use my words and say to this person, I'm giving this to you, but I need an energetic exchange. It's okay. You can have an energetic exchange. And that leads to a deal that I made with my guides. I had this thing where I was giving, and I was not being in integrity because I had an expectation of receiving good things in return, but I never said anything. So what I finally came down to is I sat down with my guides one day and I made a rule that I would not give away free unsolicited readings. Now, I give away free readings all the time, but I give that with the expectation that that is going to lead to sales on down the road. And I've even begun saying, when I give free readings, share this out. If you want a free reading, share this with other people. That's an energetic exchange. So I made a deal with my guides that I won't give away free unsolicited readings. So if people contact me out of the blue and say, hey, can you look at this? If they're a friend and we were already in this energetic exchange relationship, then certainly I just pull a card for them real fast, no problem. But if it's just out of the blue and they ask me, I'll say, go have a look at my Facebook page. You can schedule a reading with me. So be clear on your intentions and your expectations when you're giving and receiving. Pay attention to that energy with which you give. I can't say this enough. Pay attention to the energy with which you give, because the universe doesn't like contradiction. So when you go into the workbook, we're going to have you consider, what is abundance? We always think abundance is attached to money. Not necessarily. You have abundance all around you all the time. What do you want more of? Remember, you got to have to practice gratitude, and you have to give generously. And don't forget your gratitude. Hang on to that gratitude. Be grateful for what you have, and more will be given to you. And finally, we're going to ask you to take a look at how you block your receiving. So you're going to use this law when a friend asks for a favor. Can you give it freely, or do you need to ask for an energetic exchange? It's not a bad thing. If you give grudgingly, then that's the energy. You don't want to do that. So be clear on what you're doing when you're giving and receiving. Especially use it when you're having trouble receiving. I flip this around in the workbook, and I really talk a lot more about receiving than I do about giving. And use it when you feel weird charging people for your services. Remember, you've spent years learning what you do, doing what you do, and it's okay to charge people for that. Remember, can't say this enough, the only thing that can be withheld from you is that which you refuse to give. So be generous with what you've got. All right, it's been a pleasure. So glad we've made it through, and I hope you're getting a lot from this course. Time for me to go on and make some more recordings about the Divine Connections method. Have a great day.